What do you have when a lawyer is buried up to his neck in sand? Not enough sand. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jokes Anakin Would Never Tell. Not enough sand. You crazy. We're going to talk about Omicrons and their rankings because it's time, guys. We did this last May, but we've had a ton of characters, tons of Omicrons we haven't ranked, and the list keeps getting longer. A lot of people have been asking for this, so let's get going. Huge shout out to my patrons. I could not do this without you guys. Thank you so much for your support, guys. And if you want to support this channel for free, all you got to do is hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment. Let's mount the algorithm. It would mean a lot to me if you would do that, guys. Thank you so much for your support. If you want this infographic that we're going to be using for this video, you can go get a free nice copy that you can share with your guild and be your guild's hero at my Discord server found in the video description. It's free to get. It's in the channel called Infographics, so you can just go there, grab it. You can even just leave you don't even have to stay in this server, but you probably should. It's a pretty big server. We're almost at 10,000 people. It's pretty fancy. So let's get to it, shall we, folks? Let's talk about this because things have changed a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. So a little bit more zoomed in version of this infographic. And I just want to point out that first off, there's a few question marks on some of the territory ones specifically, because honestly, there's no pirate GAC Omicrons yet. I mean, they just released one with Captain swgoh, but he's going to make it into the next ranking video because it's been too little time to actually adjust. But the question marks are, I'm not totally sure how these Omicrons are going to end up doing, because we don't have a pirate lead. As crazy as it is, they've released all the pirates so far. They just haven't released the leaders yet. Maz Kanata and Galactic Legend Hondo are not out yet still. And so we don't know how they're going to do. So that's a big caveat. I did ask a lot of territory war specialists, however, what they think of these, and this is the approximate places that everyone agreed they should be. So with that said, let's dive in to all of this madness, shall we? So let's talk about GAC first, because it's the only real game mode now. But we will spend a little more time on these top ones just because they're important. So just from there's no particular order in any of these unless the character has multiple Omicrons. Now, obviously, in this screen, there's no multiple Omicrons that you need at the very top level, but there's going to be a couple other ones here. Let's see if I can find it, where if they're right next to each other, like the Jar Jar ones, that's the order, the prescribed order that they should be in for that character. So yes, do it soon on all of the Jar Jar ones, for instance, but do them in the order that's prescribed that they appear in on the list. So let's talk about the top ones, though. Malgus is, I mean, he's taken a step back in terms of how dominant he is, but he's still pretty strong. Does a lot of cool stuff. This is the one Omicron that he needs to make his whole team function. The other ones aren't absolutely necessary. They are nice for sure, but I mean, one of them is only good in 5v5 actually, even though you have to pay full price for it. But it's yeah, this one makes him the monster that he is. Same with Starkiller. This one is the one that gives the boost to his whole team. The other two are just specials, and they do fine for different reasons. We'll talk about those maybe briefly, but this is the one that gives all the awesome stats to the team. And if you're going to unlock Starkiller, this Omicron should be the first thing you apply. This might be the best one to apply. It might be the most impactful Omicron in the game. And I mean, just in terms of how enormously it impacts the whole team. So it's unique, it's really strong. You should apply it if you plan on using him ever. Ben, this is the one that lets him revive every time that your opponent's leader takes a turn, and it's obnoxious to the point where this is what makes him, well, one of the things that makes him really good as like helper to Ray, a lifter to Ray. So if you have Ray, you want to apply this one for sure. I mean, this is the standard one. The other ones are okay, but this one is amazing. Qui-Gon, I just recently made a video talking about Omicrons we can sunset, and I got a lot of pushback from people about Qui-Gon here. And I mean, it's like the oldest Omicron in the game, frankly. And I do think it's taken a step back. I don't know if it's necessarily should belong on the very, very top level, but I will say this. For early game and mid game, it still is pretty legit. It still kills a lot of stuff. It still does a lot of cool stuff. And all the characters on this team are in some way required for something. So you're going to generally have that team kind of early game anyways. So it's worth applying it pretty soon. That's why it still has the little blue circle of like one of the first Omicrons you should apply. We're going to reevaluate in, 3 or 4 months, whenever the next video, ranking video I put out for these are. But we'll keep him. We'll let him have one more ranking videos worth of glory, shall we? I should just put Traya right next to Savage. They're basically the same Omicron. I mean, they're not the same Omicron, but if you're gonna play one, you should apply the other, because that they go so well together. Like this, you can early game, you can actually just use Savage to solo teams, because he just destroys a lot of those garbage teams, and then you can use a Traya squad without Savage to beat other teams, or if you really want to, you can combine them together, which I think that, I mean, even in the end game, this is a very top tier, amazing team that does a lot of damage. Wampa's really good. Here's the thing about Wampa. Like, a lot of people in the end game will say like, oh yeah, Wampa's worthless. You're not going to use Wampa unless you get a good Datacron, which of course we're not ranking these based off of Datacron use for the most part. We'll actually talk about that a little bit in the next slide, I believe. But Wampa is still not, I mean, Wampa is not killing anything in the end game. For Kyber, like if you're in Kyber 1, if you're competing pretty heavily, every once in a while your opponent will slip up and put a team that Wampa can beat, but for the most part, you're just not, even in 3v3, not going to use Wampa too much. People make a Wampa proof board, and that works. However, the thing a lot of people overlook is, well, first off, mid game and early game, he usually, like Wampa usually, sorry, she, people get mad when you call Wampa he for some reason, but when Wampa is able, like Wampa kills a lot of stuff in early and mid game, but then also in the end game, if you're able to kill a team, or only part of a team, but you still fail, then a lot of times Wampa's perfect to be able to clean up your mistake, and we'd all do fail sometimes, of course. And so Wampa, I really love that, because you get a few banners back, because you don't have to send a full team, you just send Wampa in. And granted, I mean, it's not like you drop 20 points when you fail, and that sucks, and of course it couldn't be a disaster, but it's nice to get 2 or 3 points back. Just, I mean, maybe that'll make a huge difference, who knows. And it's a team that you weren't going to use for something else. So Wampa as a cleanup probably doesn't deserve on its own the top tier level, but combined with its tremendous impact early and mid game, Wampa does pretty good. Riva, this is the one that I think it's her lead, that lets, whenever an opponent cleanses, they immediately death mark themselves. It's so good that I get mad whenever I have to use her in a different game mode and it doesn't work. I'm like, what? That's what I say. I'm like, what? It sounds pretty dumb, because that's about half my life, is me being a little bit dumb. So Bane, I mean, look, Bane is the most overpowered character in the game. You really probably do want to put 2 Omicrons on him, but at least put this one on him. This one's really good. This is his top one. This is the one that makes him tick. It's really strong. This is the one that lets him take a bonus turn at the start. It gives him a ton of extra stats, and it's his unique, and it just makes him really good. Like this one, of all of them that you want to miss, this is the one you don't want to. He's the most overpowered character in the game. He needs this Omicron immediately. Maybe even more impactful even than the Starkiller one, in fact. The Queen Amidala one is the one that summons her mannequin, I like to call it, because it rhymes with Anakin. But it summons the decoy right away, so you can keep her summon ability for later once you've gotten rid of once your opponent has gotten rid of your decoy. It's really nice. It's a tremendous team. Balin this is his leadership. We don't know if this one may end up getting downgraded just because of his generalized level of usefulness. We're just still he's new enough. Still, we're still not totally sure where he ranks. His whole team ranks, but I will say, like, this is the one that it does so much stuff. Actually, like this is a crazy, like, this is a book's worth of stuff that it does. Like, it does things like when you're fighting resistance teams and they have the inspired buff, it just gives your whole team a ton of bonus protection and makes it so that you can kill Rey sometimes. This is the thing that lets you kill Jedi Master Kenobi sometimes. This is the one that prevents your team from being instant killed. It's the thing that lets it prevents your opponents from reviving. It does all of these things. His other Omicrons, well, one of them is pretty good, the other one is less good, but this one is, if you're going to run a good Balin team, this one is pretty vital. Pointy Teeth Rey, this is the one that makes her actually capable of working with Supreme Leader Kylo, so do it. The Afra one, I mean, this one probably wouldn't be on the top, except it only costs 10, because she's only good in 5v5 anyways, and this Omicron is a 5v5 only Omicron, so it does actually impact her whole team quite a bit. You could make an argument that one of her uniques actually is better than this, but this is the best one. I think her leadership is best. Bo-Katan, this is her lead. I would actually tend to, I think that you kind of almost need, at least at the top level, you need her second one that ignores taunt, but we haven't escalated things to that degree. People are already annoyed at how high I rank Bo-Katan teams on my various rankings, so I'm trying to appease the people who are wrong about how good she is. I hope you forgive me, but this is the one that lets her, among other things, it gives you like one free revive in the fight, which is nice until you fight another game mode and someone dies. You're like, what the heck happened? Why didn't I revive? Another stupid moment brought to you by Zareth. Scorch is, if you look at it, like, look at how much stuff he gets just for his Omicron. Like, look at the stats that he gets, and then put it in context of how tanky Lord Vader teams are supposed to be, and realize that it's a really good one. And then the CX2 one, this is I think 3v3 only, if I remember correctly, and this one is still kind of a question mark. Of course, is it like, it just makes it so that people have to kill Lord Vader first, and Lord Vader's a tough guy to kill. He is just a very challenging fellow to take out, and CX2 is the one who makes that happen. So the next level of Omicrons, we're not going to go over every single one of them now, but I do want to do a couple quick hitters. First off, you see the Malicos ones. You want to do them in order there, guys. The first two don't really matter. I feel like they have about equal value for the most part. But the third one is one that if you apply it, that you want to apply that one last. If you're like, okay, I'm gonna just dole them out, I don't have 3 to spare immediately when I unlock him, then that one's not the one to like. It's still just as good as them, it's just not as good when you don't have the other 2. So that's why you have the little pink circle around it. You can see the note at the bottom of the infographic when you get the full thing. We also have the Starkiller one at the very start there. This is the one that dispels people, which is in incidentally good. I almost demoted it actually because we're just not using Star Killer as much, but being able to dispel and do extra damage based on how many buffs you're dispelling can still be really cool, because there's certain teams that it's like, oh my gosh, how many buffs do they have? Like, they have so many, he'll just delete the whole team. It's very satisfying when you can line that up. It just doesn't happen that often. Seer is almost just glued to Malicos, to be honest, at least in GAC. So I would actually apply hers before Malicos. In some ways, I would just do it in the order that they're laid out. Seer, Malicos, Malicos, Malicos. Gosh, it's expensive, isn't it, guys? This is the Bane. The Bane one is the one that, it's on his cooldown reducing ability. This is the other Omicron that is kind of a must-have for Bane if you want to, if you're taking him destroying people seriously. So I would do that. Drogon is really good. You just use him so much, guys, and this gives him a lot of extra tankiness. It gives him extra health, and the fact that you're going to use Leia every single match in GAC just makes it so that because of how often he's being used, and because it's decent, it's a decent Omicron. If he was on any other non-Galactic Legend team, I'd probably demote it by one, but I didn't. So let's see, Jar Jar ones. It's funny to look at the Jar Jar stats when you see all the defenses, defensive holds for Jar Jar. The hold percentage goes up more and more on your Gungan teams based on how many Omicrons he has. Like he becomes more and more obnoxious. It's kind of a I mean, I just tend to, I don't like the team that much. You guys know if you watch me stream, it kind of just annoys me. The whole team does, the stupid frogs. But I mean, I can't deny how strong and how impactful his Omicrons are. It's really good. It's one of the reasons you don't want to farm frogs, because then you don't want to have to apply all 3 Omicrons. But okay, so we've got Saw. I promoted him, guys, and this is one of the discussions I wanted to have while we were making this video is so I don't want to do this ranking based off of Datacrons, obviously, because Datacrons come and go. They obviously aren't here forever. But Saw he has so many good tags, and the characters that go on his team end up having so many good tags as well, that he almost always has some relevant stat or ability that's going to make his team better. And so whereas we used to disdain Saw and how he would do on defense for a long time, it was like people would be like, oh yeah, that team sucks. It was like it was almost just cool to say that he sucked, and no one really knew why or knew anything about him. I'm just convinced he's been annoying and frustrating for a long time now. I just don't think he's going anywhere. So I think people should start adding his Omicron, and for that matter, a huge part of that is Luthen. And so we added Luthen. I promoted one of his Omicrons first. I think this is the one that gives him extra speed, and it also does a few other things for Worthless Guy, I believe. And it's all 3 of his Omicrons are like decent. You don't have to have them, but this is the best one in my opinion. You can go find out which one it is. I don't even remember. I think it's a unique. But okay, so quick hitters, like, you want the pre-taunt with Morgan if you're going to use Great Mothers, right? Like you actually, that she's almost about to be promoted just because you almost have to have that pre-taunt to make that team work. Most times the Zori one is really good just because it impacts her team so tremendously. The Adrad one and the Chrysandid one are both really strong because they make themselves way more tanky and stronger. The Marin one, this is the only, it's just it's pretty good. The team just doesn't get used that much in the end game. Mid game and early game, it's still pretty strong. I still think people should apply that as one of their first Omicrons ever, but you don't absolutely have to. The Bo-Katan one is the one that lets you ignore taunt with her, which is just so strong and almost necessary. That one, I just want to promote all of them, guys. The Bad Batch ones. Are Bad Batch good? We're still trying to debate that. Yes, they're okay in the raid. Are they amazing in the game? Do they deserve 2 Omicrons? I'm not sure, but they're both pretty good. So I didn't want, if I was going to demote one of them, I was going to demote both, and I don't think they deserve that yet. So I'm not going to do that. Tarkin is pretty good in 3v3 with his team if you have him. you could use them on offense. Your opponent has to use some annoying, weird stuff to beat them on defense, so they're pretty good. The Captain Rex one can be really good for a lot of reasons. All three Ezra ones are really strong. If you have Ezra and you have Galactic Legend Ahsoka, you tend to want to apply these ones. The first two, you don't even need Ahsoka for him to be able to use them that well. So you can do that. The other pointed teeth Rey ones are both really strong as well. And then the Tusken Raider one is decent, as always. It only costs 10, so it's really nice in 3v3. And okay, so we've got the Temple Guardian, which is great. He does some cool stuff. He locks up, like in threes especially, it can really lock up your opponent's team when he has to take 2 turns before one of their characters can even be used. Like that is hugely disruptive. It's really strong. In fives it's a little less awesome, but it's still really strong in the totality of the Mace team, the Jocasta squad. You only need 1 Omicron for her really to be that good. The other ones just kind of suck, really, and this one still isn't even the best, but it still does it does fine. You kind of want this is the one that helps her operate. And then finally, Hondo's stock just keeps going up. He can go on a mercenary team with Balin, and it works really well. His Omicron. He can go on a pirate team, and it works really well. Like he can still go on like a dash team, and it still works really well. He's really strong. I mean, he's always been able to hit really hard, and he's just so compatible with so many different teams. I feel like this is the time for Hondo to shine, man. Good for him. Okay, so kind of neat ones. We're really gonna let's not spend time talking about most of these. The biggest thing I want to mention is, first off, I think I should promote those Afro ones just because they're only 10 each. They're not bad for what they do. They actually all impact the team pretty well. The Luthen ones are pretty decent. So Zalbar I actually demoted because it's cool that he gives himself a pre-taunt for any team. That is really nice. And then otherwise, if you use them in threes, then you go in with a 3-banner handicap right away, which I don't love. And you split off Darth Revan. I mean, it can work okay, but it's just not. It can, and then in fives, it's not that usable unless you just really want the pre-taunt, which is still nice. It's just not an absolute must-have. The Balin one, it's all like contingent on getting a certain number of stacks, and whereas it still is impactful on some levels, it's just not as like you don't need it as much. And then it makes me so sad, guys. Dash. What does Dash kill these days? Like, not much. And you have to have Vendor Chewie, who is still not a requirement character for anything. It's very sad. This whole section makes me really sad. Honestly, guys, it's a lot of like has-beens or could-have-beens. It doesn't mean that they're awful, it just means that they're not as good. And then the things that are awful are all of these guys. Last time I promoted the 2 droids at the end there because they only cost 10 instead of 20 each because it's 3v3 only. Don't apply these guys. The Bane one is also somehow they found one that's not that good unless you really want to use him with Sith the Eternal Emperor, but even then he doesn't need it with Sith the Eternal Emperor for Sith the Eternal Emperor to be good with him. And then don't apply the Krennic one or the Luminara one. Unfortunately, the Luminara one is just so depressing, guys. Okay, TW, let's get going. Let's gonna go a little faster now. So there's no new ones that are just absolute must-haves as far as anyone can tell. Juhani is probably the most impactful one in the game almost. On some levels, it just makes the Star Killer. If you want to use Star Killer in Territory Wars, apply it to Juhani. It's really good. The Master Qui-Gon one, you really need Queen Amidala's team, of course, to work there, but this is what makes Queen Amidala's team work really well, is his Omicron Embo. This one is also one of the best in the game because most people are going to try to get Jabba at some point, and the Jabba team becomes really strong with the intervention of Embo and what his Omicron does. You don't really There's other Omicrons you can add for that team. Well, at least one other one, the Skiff Guard Lando one, but that one isn't nearly as impactful as Embo's is. Embo becomes just that, like, my alt only has like 3, I think, Omicrons, maybe 4 for Territory Wars, and Embo's is one of them. And one of the other one is the Great Mothers. Both of the Great Mothers ones are really good. I see a lot of guilds only saying that you should apply just the leadership one. Or maybe it's a unique, I don't remember now. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm embarrassed to say. But both of these are like, they just turn this team into a weapon, man. It's such a crazy team. And so I would use them if I were you. Apply both of them. The Great Mothers team is fantastic, guys, and you don't have to unlock anything to be able to use them. Now they're all accelerated farming, I think. Really good stuff. And then you have the double Omicron for the Ahsoka Tano team in Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano. This is also a really good duo. You'll note that there's a lot of duos here. This team is also just really, really strong. It does a lot of really cool stuff. On defense, it's one of the best defensive teams out there, but only if you apply the Omicrons. It can be super duper obnoxious. Trench, this is the one that lets you actually use the Trench team in TW, and like all of the Trench ones are actually pretty good. You get a lot of use out of Trench still. It's still a strong team. It has taken a step back in level of dominance, but it's still good. The Kelleran Beck team, he's in a weird place now because Jedi Master Mace is out, and that whole team is probably gonna take some of the characters that would otherwise have gone with Kelleran Beck. But Kelleran Beck, Omicron, is still really strong. It still impacts the game in a lot of ways. On offense, on defense, it's really not doing that much anymore, but it still is really impactful. This is another one that my alt has. And then we have Ahsoka and Cal. Of course, you need both of them to be able to be used in Territory Wars on the same team. Otherwise, Ahsoka Fulcrum has to be used on her own, kind of like Wampa, and she's not that good if you do it. But together on a Rey team, it just makes the Rey teams pretty annoying. And then the Grand Inquisitor one, this is the one that auto kills a Jedi. Like he goes into the battle and instant kills like Mace Windu or something like that. It's really strong. I think it's just a special. Usually specials aren't the very best for Omicrons, but his is really good. The next level for Territory Wars, you can see Dark Trooper Moff Gideon can do some cool stuff. I mean, he's just on offense now. People don't put him on defense for the most part, but we also have the Mace Windu one, which is good. It's just that he kind of got demoted because, and this is the tank Mace Windu, OG Mace Windu. He got demoted a while ago, but just because Kenobi's kind of taken a step back. It still feels overpowered, man. When you use it, it is really strong. The Hera one is really good for ramping damage if you're into that sort of thing. If your opponent is going to be placing Inquisition that don't have Merrick on the team. The Droideka one used to be must-have. Now it's would be nice to have, but a lot of people know how to beat it. At this point, it's not nearly the problem that it used to be, and I don't like to put a ton of relics on a character that you just don't use in other parts of the game. The Poggle one early and mid-game is still really strong if you're going to be working on your Geonosians. If you get the Geo Lightspeed bundle or whatever, Shin makes the Balin team actually worth something in Territory Wars as well. The Boss Nass one is the one that makes the frogs pretty good. Both of the Trench ones are still good. Mara Jade is, we took a step back on her as well. It's still useful though. A lot of people aren't using it on the Starkiller team. Like it used to be Mara Jade with Juhani on a Starkiller team, but people aren't doing that anymore. They're just using Mara Jade to do some weird, turn meter manipulation and stuff to be able to, I mean, you can get some cheap, easy kills if your opponent in TW places the right team, and Mara still has a lot of really cool, like the really, really good TW guilds still get a ton of use out of Mara Jade, even if she's not on the Starkiller squad. So Jedi Master Mace Windu, He is pretty good on offense or on defense. On offense, people are saying that they're getting some use out of him, but everyone's being very secretive about how useful he is, like what kind of things he kills on offense. And so these are the two that are the most impactful. Most people who have unlocked Jedi Master Mace, they're the people who spend money, so they have a ton of Omicrons, usually just in reserve. So the percentage of Jedi Master Mace windows that have these Omicrons, it's very high. It's like 87% of people have applied these ones. But the ones that they've applied least are the unique and the special. For what it's worth, Ithano looks like he's gonna be good. It's unique, so it's still gonna be relevant even when he goes onto the Maz Kanata team. He does some cool stuff, like he hands out death marks sometimes, which is pretty neat actually. Passively hands them out, and then SM33 and Kicks both seem like they're going to be like, Kicks is actually just go look at all the stuff Kicks does. It's kind of confusing. There's a ton of stuff, but Kicks is actually there's a lot of stuff that happens there. And SM33, I mean, I think once we get Hondo and SM33 just starts destroying people, maybe we're gonna upgrade some of these a little bit more, but for now, nothing too crazy. Hold on a sec. All right, I went through and edited all of the I had to edit the infographic, but I apparently didn't resize this thing. So these are all just ones that you probably don't need to apply. The Brutus one may end up being really good with Hondo, but right now it doesn't seem that necessary. The other ones, the special attacks with SM33 are big weight and C's as well. And then the Jedi Master Mace one, my biggest criticism of the Jedi Master Mace Omicrons is a lot of them have a ton of language about the investigation mechanic, and the investigation mechanic is just so clunky and weird that most people aren't making use of it. So if you're, I mean, like, they'll passively use it if you're like, oh cool, I guess I got some stacks of investigation, but for the most part it's just not a huge factor in early discussions. Now that he's going to be unlocked by a bigger group of people coming pretty soon, maybe we'll get some better playtesting and better strategies for him. But right now, that's the biggest thing about Jedi Master Mace is all of his Omicrons have something about investigation, and it's not like he was a particularly amazing investigator in canon either. It's like, what? You guys suck at this. You can't even find one Sith. Get out of here. All right, PvE. I decided to promote Kenobi here. Full reversal from where I used to be. He's for Conquest, this is something I actually recommend to a lot of early game players because he's just a feat machine. He has so many buffs and debuffs that he hands out and he gets all the different feats way easier for people. So this is something that can be really easy. It's like a cheat code for a lot of different accounts. Even endgame accounts use it because it's a shortcut to getting the things you need. I did also promote Enoch just because his team does some really awesome stuff with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon in Rise of the Empire, if that's something you're into. If it's not, I guess I just don't care. I guess the only other thing we really want to talk about here, first off, I don't know how good pirates are going to be like in TB. My guess is that they're just not going to need, with Hondo, they're not going to need a TB Omicron. Like, no team usually needs them anyways, but otherwise they're just I mean, maybe we'll want to upgrade one of these. It just doesn't really matter. They're all just kind of suck. And then I put Depas here at toward the very bottom because here's the ugly truth. It's not that ugly, but if you're gonna use the Jedi Master Mace team in territory battles, you just hit auto without Omicrons anyways, and you still just win. It's so easy. Like, they just beat every node that they want to fight in anyways without an Omicron, so why apply one? It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. So that's it, folks. That's the ranking. I'm sure you disagree with some of these on some of these with me. I would be interested to hear what your thoughts are. Hit me up in the comments if there's something you think should be changed. I would love to hear it, guys. Go get that infographic for free at my Discord server. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, and I'm gonna let you go. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that in all things, Zareth prevails.